टेक्निकल इन्फॉर्मेशन वो शेयर करता है. He is also in social media influencer. He has his own YouTube channel and on Instagram. You can follow him and a track racer as well. So welcome you Zenngine on the platform.
So first I'll give an introduction about myself. As a rider, I have not been riding for a very long time. I just started my riding journey back in 2018. Zenngine as a brand became a passion project back in 2018 when I started with it, because I felt there was a need for quality maintenance that motorcycles need to be given. Right? There's a difference between a guy who takes his motorcycle from home to work and gets back to home, and that's all he does with his motorcycles, compared to what we do with our motorcycles. For us, motorcycles is something which is a very precious thing. It is something we use as our passion. It's a very different use case. So for people like us, there is not someone who is providing that quality service, right? So this started back in 2018. Over the past few years, we've become quite successful. We've been featured in the Autocar magazine as well for our quality service. We usually cater to the high-end motorcycles, because that is what people usually, that clientele usually has a very high demand for quality. So they look for, pinpoint perfection, right? So we are usually catering to them, but we are open to all segments of the market. Today we'll talk about what mechanical parts of a motorcycle are, give you some information about them, give you details about how we should maintain these motorcycles, why it is important to maintain these motorcycles, how we can take care of them, so that whatever genre of riding we are going to do, whether it is the racetrack, whether it is an off-road trail, whether it is touring, whether it is commuting, whatever it is, your experience with your motorcycle should be seamless, should be pinpoint perfect. You should have a very in-depth, deep understanding of how a motorcycle functions and what should you do to make sure that your motorcycle is in top condition, right? So I'll hand over to Vignesh. We'll start with the brakes of the motorcycle.
Hello everyone. First we'll start with the brakes. Brakes is the most, it's like a most important part of the bike. Why? Because when you ride, you need to stop the bike. Hello. So you need to stop the bike. It's always necessary to use a brake. So in brake, what's the basic maintenance you need to check by yourself while riding daily on the road, like weekend rides, everywhere. So first of all, you have to check is your brake clean. Second is do you have your brake pad life level. To get your brakes service each and every service, you need to clean your brakes thoroughly. Two different types of caliper. This is a fixed caliper and you get a floating caliper.
What is caliper?
Caliper is this component which helps you to stop the bike. Okay?
Is there any different type of calipers?
Yeah, so there are two most commonly used calipers. One is the fixed caliper.
Then the balls will go and sit into those dents. So a lot of times what happens is you will feel your handlebar, it comes and gets locked in the middle and it does not want to move there. Now that has a major impact in the handling of the motorcycle. We are noticing this more and more as the conditions of our roads are deteriorating every day. Right, so the bike goes over more potholes, more bumps, and then the wear on this bearings increases because of that.
I have a question. So how do you figure out if your brakes are fixed caliper brakes? So if your caliper is a fixed caliper or a floating caliper, one. And second is basically what are the different pads what you can use. So can the same pad be used in both the systems?
Right. So a monoblock caliper is something which is fixed. The caliper itself will not move. Okay. Whereas a floating caliper has a mounting plate on which the caliper sits and moves. So if you look at a rare caliper, it sits on a mounting plate which is mounted to the motorcycle, and the caliper itself is free to move. You will not be able to move it by hand, but if you try to move it, it will at least wiggle a little because it is floating. Brakes is something that we consider as a safety critical item. 100%. Anything in my bike does not work, brake तो चलना चाहिए. कुछ भी हो जाए गाड़ी को, brake मेरा चलना चाहिए. Right? So that is a safety critical item. You never compromise on the integrity of your braking system. What a lot of people commonly do is they install these aftermarket levers, right, which are not good at all. I've had people riding with me who have installed these cheap aftermarket levers. The lever has broken, the lever has jammed in the middle of a ride, and he's had a crash because of that. So with your safety critical items, I would recommend that you don't do anything which is not of a decent build quality. I'm going to pass around some samples of some brake pads, right? Now, these are 50% worn brake pads, right? You can pass these around. Now, the grayish part is something which is your friction material. That is something which is going to wear down. The golden part is the backing plate of it. That is not supposed to touch anything, that is not supposed to wear down. At this point, which workshop you go to makes a massive difference. Now, when a bike enters at our workshop, we first inspect the motorcycle front to back. And then we inform the owner that boss, this is what we notice is the issue with your motorcycle. And then you decide whatever needs to happen with it. Right? But something like these, the bearings, wear and everything needs to be checked from the workshop side periodically. Every alternate service, this has to be checked. Right. Any other questions? Yeah.
Go ahead and change the engine oil from semi-synthetic to synthetic.
Okay. So, correct. So, in 99% of modern motorcycles, you going from a semi-synthetic oil to a fully synthetic oil is 100% recommended. But keep in mind, you cannot go back. From a semi-synthetic to a fully synthetic, one, it's more expensive, and once you make that switch, you cannot go back. The reason behind that is that the synthetic oils have a lot of chemicals, a lot of additives in it which go and bond with the metals inside your engine. So then they will only work with synthetic oil. They form a layer on the metal inside the engine. So once that layer is formed, the semi-synthetic oil is not going to work in that engine anymore. So you have to stick to synthetic oil. The only
But why it happens that every time cringy noise it comes, and whenever I have shown many bullet service center and mechanic, they say that कि ये bullet का problem होता ही है. Is it true that कि bullet का ये problem होता है कि cringy noise brake में आता है हर 1.5 महीने 2 महीने के बाद?
Your bullet, the rear is a drum brake or a disc brake?
It's a drum brake.
A drum brake. So that, and you're talking about the rear brake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a drum brake system, that is a usual problem that the brake system gets dirty. So the reason behind that is that a drum brake is a sealed system compared to a disc brake. There's friction happening. Friction leads to a lot of dust and debris that comes out of the brake pads, right? अभी वो brake pad आपने देखा, उसमें वो brake material घसा है, वो घस के material कहीं तो जाना चाहिए ना, right? In an open disc system, that material flies off, but in a drum system, the material stays inside. उसको बाहर निकलने के लिए जगह नहीं है, because it's a sealed system, right? Which is why in a drum brake system, you will have to regularly clean your system, and that noise is going to come. वो drum brake system में वो आपको होएगा, right? In a disc brake system also it happens, but over a long interval of time, not that short of an interval. But in a drum brake system that happens.
So you see, if you get any hard links in your chain, which is very scary.
You see these are called hard links, right? Basically your chain should be friction free. It should just fall down in a straight line, right? But this is something that shows there's too much friction in the chain. So that one link has become hard and it has sealed. It does not want to move anymore. It will move with a considerable amount of force, right? So that is what is also going to cause a power lag in your system, because your engine will have to come up that extra friction when it is moving. One most important topic in drivetrain is, I consider, one of the most crucial items on a motorcycle which is going to impact each and every aspect of your motorcycle are the tires. Those are the only thing that keep your motorcycle connected to the road. Those are the only thing that has an impact on your braking, on your acceleration, on your handling, on your confidence, on your pleasure of the ride. Each and every single thing is impacted by the tires. Just two things I mentioned. If your tire is old or is worn out, replace the tire. Replace the tire as a set.
I just have to ask, like many times they say the front tire or chal jayega. So we follow that or we should change both together? Like my tire sizes are different from an ADV. Front is bigger and the rear is smaller. So ideally the rotation happens more on the rear tire more. That's what
So the 70% life of the tire is going to give you all the grip that the tire can give. The last 30% of the tire starts reducing the grip. So you will have to consider, okay, at what point am I, right? The only case in which I am going to recommend that is if your front tire is going to last you 2 full rear tires. Only in that case. I'll tell you the reason why. Let's say that your front tire has worn down 60% and your rear tire is gone. Now your front tire is at 40% left, right? You put on a brand new rear tire, you don't change your front. After a few kilometers, what is going to happen to your front tire? It's going to come down to 20%. Now you have a brand new rear tire, you have a 20% life left in the front tire. That 20% life is not going to give you confidence, right? Then by the time you come to changing the front tire, your rear tire has worn down. Now your rear tire is down to 40%, right? By the time you change that, your front tire has worn down again. So you are never going to ride a motorcycle that has full grip. Either your front is compromised or your rear is compromised. दोनों में से कोई भी है.
How do we identify manually if we want to check the tires that if they are worn out or not? How do we check this?
So on different tires have different wear indicators in the tire. There are small little wear indicators. Once those wear indicators become flush with the surface of the tire, that means that it has worn out. Yeah.
Very tragic. Do the luggage matter a lot in regards to tire pressure at the back?
A little bit, yes. So your owner's manual is going to have recommendations for you in terms of what tire pressures you should have for a solo rider, for a solo plus pillion rider, for a solo plus pillion plus luggage rider.
Which gives current to your battery, but your battery runs your whole motorcycle. You have to look into is whenever you install a aux line, you be very specific what wiring harness you are using, what aux lines you are using, and so on and so forth.
Any other questions? No? All good, all good.
Thank you so much. I would just one more. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this technical session. This I would like to facilitate Zen by Yash and Mira. It was really informative and everyone of here enjoyed, learned a lot. Thank you Vinesh, it was amazing. काफी कुछ सीखा है आप लोगों ने. Thank you so much.
Zenngine. Yeah. I have always been obsessed with engines. My name is Zen, coming from Zenngine.
इवेंट है तो भी हम लोग को सबको प्रिविलेज दिया कि आपका इवेंट पहले करो. I would just like to give a small token of love just to Yash. Thank you sir. Sir is a professional photographer and he has his own riding group also. Mostly rides with Honda. So thank you sir for coming for our event. It's a privilege.
Don't shout from the backside. Never shout to the next rider to wait, hello, anything. Never shout anything from the backside. Let him ride normally. And if you want to convey something, you should be in the front, not on the back. Or otherwise it will create a massive accident. Any professional rider you are riding. Because the moment for a second also you look back, over a second, it is an accident. So when you are riding on a highway or anywhere, don't shout your fellow riders, your co-riders from the backside. Thank you.
And thank you so much everyone.
तो गाइज आपने देखा होगा जैन ने जो डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया है, तो व्हाट इज ऑल अबाउट हिज शॉप.
Hi guys, so I am Zen. I'm the founder of Zenngine. This started as a passion project about 5 years ago. We generally cater to anyone and everyone who wants quality maintenance on their motorcycle. Right? It can be taking care of small problems that everyone neglects, or it can be upgrading the motorcycle to finding what fits best for you and making the motorcycle perfect for your riding scenario. We generally cater to any category. We generally cater to the bigger end of the motorcycle, those spectrum of motorcycles, but there is no limit on that, right? So if you are someone who wants to enhance your riding experience to the point that your motorcycle feels like it is made for you, you can get in touch with us. Thank you.
तो गाइज आपने देखा कि वीडियो में बहुत सारे जो है डिस्कशंस हुए, जो 2 सेशन हुए, बहुत ही इन्फॉर्मेटिव था. जनरली जो होता है हम सिर्फ बाइक चलाते हैं, बट इस बार बहुत कुछ सीखने मिला कि एक्चुअली बाइक के साथ साथ और भी काफ़ी सारी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो ध्यान में रखनी होती है, जैसे खुद की सेफ्टी, बाइक को जो है उसको सर्विसिंग कराना और ऑयलिंग, ग्रीसिंग, टायर चेक, ये सब बहुत ज़रूरी होता है एक राइडर को राइड करते हुए. और अगर राइडर नहीं भी हो के अगर जो डेली कम्यूट करते हैं बाइक पे, उसके लिए भी ज़रूरी है कि इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि बाइक को किस तरह रखा जाए, क्योंकि काफ़ी बार ऐसा होता है कि हम सिर्फ बाइक चलाते हैं और ध्यान नहीं देते. ये जो सेशन जहाँ पे रखा गया था वो है अपना ये वॉश केयर सेंटर सर्विस जो यश का है. यहाँ पर सर्विसिंग होती है गाड़ी 4 व्हीलर 2 व्हीलर सबका, जब कभी भी आपको आना हो आप यहाँ पे आ सकते हो। तो सर्विसिंग चालू हो गया। सो आई होप आपको आज का ये वीडियो बहुत ही इन्फॉर्मेटिव लगा, अच्छा लगा। कमेंट कर दीजिए, लाइक कीजिए और मेरे चैनल को ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा। और येस, फॉलो योर ड्रीम्स एंड बी हैप्पी, सेफ ड्राइव एंड बी सेफ। थैंक यू, मिलता हूँ नेक्स्ट व्लॉग में।